Something major has been swept under the rug in Mexican football for far too long, and no one at the highest level is willing to talk about it. Clubs that previously played a massive role, now fighting for survival, and in the case of some, well, they don't even exist anymore. The country's system is a far cry from the thriving, competitive model that it once was. The shining lights have dimmed, and some of the key players of the past now find themselves forgotten. So how did we get here? Grab your popcorn and your drinks because we are going to unravel a story of greed, mismanagement, and clubs that are just left behind. The key to all these issues began in 2020. The governing body decided to create Liga MX de Expansión, a second division in Mexican football that would help teams struggling financially after the pandemic. The idea was that there were a whole host of teams in Mexico that couldn't financially compete at the highest level, so the creation of Liga MX de Expansión was just a way of keeping these clubs from dying. But what does that do for teams that are desperate to return to the top flight? Basically nothing, because there's no promotions, no relegations from the top flight, from the second division, so teams are basically just competing for bragging rights. And here's the real kicker. The governing body are far more concerned about its dynamics with the US and the MLS to care about the growing problems within its own system. Fans are becoming alienated, clubs left and right are being left lifeless, but the Liga MX is continuing to focus on expanding its own game to play home games in the US, whilst there's ever-changing plans for the League's Cup. And that, ladies and gentlemen, it brings us on to Atlante. Atlante, a club that was once on top, three-time Mexican champions, from the grand stages of the Estadio Azteca to Cancun. Yep, they decided to leave the capital of Mexico in order to help their financial situation. Protested by many who supported the club, Atlante decided to leave the very place they called home for over 100 years to move to the sunny shores of Cancun, 1,500 kilometers away. But hey, 5 months after their move in 2007, they won their third and most recent Liga MX title with stars that you may know like Faustino Asprilla from Newcastle and Santiago Solari of Real Madrid. In the years after that triumph, they went on to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup, being reigned champions of North and Central America. They went on to represent the region at the FIFA Club World Cup, reaching the final four of the competition before losing to that Barcelona team. Relegation followed, and in the years after that, when they eventually found a way to claw their way back up to the top division, the system betrayed them. Despite their past glories and being one of Mexico's biggest clubs, they are now trapped in the Liga MX de Expansión, where even winning 3 titles in 5 years means absolutely nothing. They have since returned to Mexico City, sharing the stage with the likes of Club America, Cruz Azul and Pumas, but they are still trapped in the second division. Right now, there are talks of expanding the Liga MX from 18 teams to 20, and Atlante are praying that that could be their ticket back to the top flight. Atletico Morelia, champions in the year 2000, runners-up as recently as 2011. Grupo Salinas, the owners of the club, demanded too much money from the state of Michoacán to keep the club in the city. And what do? They pack their bags, they take the club from Michoacán all the way up to the north of Mexico to Sinaloa. As you can imagine, this sparked mass outrage, not just from fans, but ex-players alike. And guess what? As a result of all of this, Atletico Morelia are also stuck in Liga Expansión. Unlike Atlante, they didn't even get relegated. They were just on the end of a dirty divorce between the state and the club, punished by the league. They were ripped away from their fans, not for poor performance, but from bad business. The club was later refounded after the collapse of Atlético Zacatecas, but it's just not the same Morelia. They are stuck in the Liga Expansión, a place they don't belong, with no way out. No matter what they achieve, no result can satisfy fans until they return to the place they should have never left. And if Atletico Morelia ever face Mazatlan, you best believe it's going to be a fiery affair. But now it's just a sad reminder of how quickly a once glorious club can be forgotten. Hey guys, if you are enjoying this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers so we can keep making more content like this for you guys. I've really enjoyed researching this particular topic. I think it's super interesting. And let me know your comments down below. What do you think the solution is for Mexican football? But yeah, with all that being said, let's get back to the video. Then there are teams like Celaya and Dorados de Sinaloa. The former, the only team ever to achieve promotion to the top flight and directly go on to reach a Liga MX final. Something that no other team has ever been able to do, and to be fair, no other team will be able to unless things change. The latter even lifted the Copa MX in 2012, and given the decision to abolish domestic cup competitions, won't have a chance to win another true piece of silverware ever again. Dorados were a one-time pride and joy of the state of Sinaloa before being replaced recently by Mazatlan. They even hosted some of the sport's biggest names, like Pep Guardiola, who played one season with the club and were formerly managed by the Diego Maradona. And then there are great teams that aren't even a part of the Mexican football system anymore. Jaguares de Chiapas, La Piedad PUP, and Tiburones de Veracruz are all just some of the prime examples. All of these teams deserve their own special video, but it's interesting to mention Tiburones de Veracruz. They are known virally for what they did in one of their last games against Tigres, where they were on the pitch and decided not to play. As for Irapuato, one half of the state rivalry in Guanajuato with Club Leon, they were forced into a hiatus in 2021 after general poor management at the club, but I bet their fans would have loved right now with the current signing, the biggest signing in Mexican football, James Rodriguez playing for their rivals Club Leon. Ultimately, these clubs all have something in common that were poorly managed to the point of death, killing football culture in entire regions despite decades and decades of history, having built entire fan bases across regions and cities across the country, all just to be burnt down to the ground in recent years. So where does that leave us? Mexican football is a mess right now. Giants are forgotten. Clubs with rich history are stuck in a system that just does not reward them. So the question remains, how do we bring back a system that was all about the competition and the drama? The answer is simple. We need to give clubs a fighting chance. Otherwise, the story of Mexican football will be nothing short of a tragedy, a forgotten dream perhaps. At the heart of all of this is greed. The clubs and the league alike are all just chasing the next big payday. And the sad part is that they're forgetting the thing that matters the most, the fans. A league that was once known for its competition is now offering less and less to its supporters. We're seeing less passion, authenticity, and quality, whilst it's all about corporate decisions. And what are fans getting in return to all of this? A watered down version of the game that they fell in love with. We talk about the days of promotion and relegation, the Copa Libertadores, and a league that once had a stronger identity, a deeper connection to its roots. Now it's all about drawing closer to the United States, and of course it brings more money, but they are growing further and further away from the clubs that built the leagues to what they are now. These clubs, the Atlantes, Morelias, Jaguares, are all being left in the dust. These teams deserve better, with little to no platform to show what they've got. Here is a league that's obsessed with growing its brands beyond the borders, whilst also neglecting the teams that gave it its foundations. There's no balance, no protection for its own clubs. If the big issue around a lot of these clubs in the Expansión is related to money, then why is the governing body not trying to do anything or find a solution to help? Right now, there's no recognition or promotions for teams that are doing well in the Expansión, and likewise for the teams at the bottom of Liga MX, there's no threat of them getting relegated either. If the league keeps heading this way, then the football culture that we know and love about Mexico is just going to be completely replaced by corporate greed. And that's the most tragic part of all, because the soul of Mexican football is the fans, and that's what's being sold off. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know down below what your thoughts are about Mexican football. And until next time, peace out.